Is it live yet? I think we are live. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Chicago Bears franchise on Madden 18. How is everyone doing today? My name is MrHurriicane. Good afternoon. We're set to play some football here today. Sounds like a good idea to me. So we got some preseason games to play. We're going to play the second and third games of the preseason. I'll probably play the fourth on my own unless I change my mind. But I want to play at least two games today, and we are going to start up in just a couple minutes. So welcome everyone to today's stream. If I'm late, that must mean I'm right on time. How's everyone doing? Following today's live stream, you're going to be able to watch a brand new Kalispell Dynasty episode that I finished earlier this morning. That is going to be coming up as soon as I'm done. I'll need like 5 minutes or so to whip up the thumbnail. I already have some stuff for it, but I just have to whip up a couple things, and then we will have a new episode out for that. And tomorrow I'll post another update letting you know my plan for the week overall and the series that I do here on the channel. Thank you all for the support. And we have the first super chat of the day from Jordan, who appears to be a Raiders fan, and he asks, "Hey Kane, what do you think of the Raiders' moves? Honestly, I'm very skeptical. They're adding good football players, but is this going to be a team that can succeed in 2018? What kind of caliber play are you getting from Derek Johnson in today's day and age? What kind of play are you getting from Jordy Nelson, who's only known like really one quarterback in his career? Not saying it can't work, but saying that it's a really interesting offseason they've had, and it probably either goes spectacularly or fails miserably. I'm pretty skeptical, though, of the overall situation there. But they do have some players to maybe figure it out. If that defense takes a step forward, that'll definitely get them on the right path. It's hard to believe that their offense or their defense is as disappointing as it is, even having one of the best players, maybe the second best, third best defensive player in the NFL in Khalil Mack. Anyway, I think we're about ready to start up the first game of today. We do have two to get through, so let's not waste too much time. I want to see Clay Stites play a whole bunch more today. He should get 3 to 5 quarters of action. We saw him in the first stream do really well. I just want to pull up his stats so you can see that from the Broncos matchup. But I was concerned about his accuracy coming into the preseason because his stats are lower than Mitchell Trubisky's. But was accuracy ever a problem? I mean, he might have missed a couple throws, but that's going to happen. But to have a 10-yard per attempt average with 62% completion is quite good. He probably won't have a yards per attempt anywhere near that when the games count and we have a bigger sample size, but I think we have reason to be excited about our young quarterbacks so far. But still a long way to go. So let's get into today's game. Make sure the right playbook is selected there. Bears franchise. Let's play football. David Guerra sends a super chat. Do you think we'll get 5 seasons for the Bears? At this point, I'm not exactly sure. I would like to squeeze out a 5th season if possible. Madden 19 moving up the release a couple weeks before they normally would definitely will impact that. So we'll see how fast year 4 moves along, and we'll go from there. But I don't want to have overlaps, so if I commit to a 5th season, I need to do it in a way where, maybe I crank out episodes like I never have before. But I think that's a bridge we can cross here in the near future. Within the next month, I should have an idea as this season gets into the full swing and we see if this team is likely a playoff team or not. So again, for me, I just want to see the rookies do well, and I want to see Clay Stites show us what he's all about. So let's get it started, everybody. against the Tennessee Titans. And they're going to open things here with a little spin move up the middle, and they get out across the 30-yard line. You know what? I'll be right back. I need to go grab something. So just give me one moment, please. Sorry for the delay. I'm here. I'm sorry. Just had to get me my cash juice because I've had some ravenous hunger today. All right. Let's play some football. Marcus Mariota pressured quickly by Jalen Egbo on this play as he spins and goes down after a 3-yard run. Hoping to see more from the pass rush today. That is something that I'm a little bit concerned about. We're good at getting like coverage sacks and, scramble sacks, but as far as just generating pass rush consistently to create bad throws and bad decisions, that's what we want to see. Nice stop there. We have, obviously, Reggie Ragland now taking over for Danny Trevathan. Hey, Kane, how are you today? I'm doing well, Clockwork. Thank you. Are cashews really that good? I'm not sure how much I'd hype them up. I enjoy them as a snack for sure. Third down and 4 from Mariota, and they go right between our two linebackers for the first down. Let me pause the music here. We get more of the game audio for you. And it's a deep play action here from Mariota. He lets it go for Sims, who beats Reggie Ragland. So Ragland's cover ability probably is a little bit better than where Trevathan was a year ago. Ragland's still younger. He has his speed intact, whereas Trevathan really didn't. Although Trevathan was able to make some interceptions because of what I'd call bad decisions mostly. They weren't plays he had to move a whole lot. That one's caught by Eric Decker, and the Titans have it inside the 15-yard line. So these are the front 4 players I'm playing with right now. Carlos Romero, Bram Dirth, David Onyemata, and Pernell McPhee. One thing I might try in this package right here is to move Bram Dirth to defensive end because I think he could play either spot pretty well. That one's incomplete. So why not make the switch right now? Let's see if he can play a little end. Instead, we'll put in we'll put Dante Rooks inside, and we'll put Bram Dirth outside. This is a completely different look from anything I've tried before. But many of you want to see us maybe switch to a 4-3. Well, we have 4 down linemen, or 4 on the line of scrimmage in our nickel, so that's close enough in my book. Olsen carries to the outside here. I believe that's Corey Olsen, the player that I thought about drafting and ultimately did not. Let's get some pass rush, though. Let's see what we can do on this play. I like calling Tampa 2 down here and then have the coverage go to the sticks. And here we go. Mariota takes off. Go get him. He slides. So Tennessee's going to kick a field goal. Got a super chat from Cameron. Can any series beat Minnesota Season 6 alone? Minnesota Season 6 was one of the best seasons on this channel. It wasn't necessarily literally the best. We obviously had a better season later in the Dynasty, but from where it started to where it ended up, being able to recover from the Andy McKenzie injury, having me actually throw only like 6 interceptions in a full season, that was pretty cool. Hard to top Season 6 Minnesota Dynasty, but I'll keep trying. I've gone through, every now and then I'll tally this up. I think I'm pretty close to 40 or 50 total seasons on this channel of major franchises or dynasties. So we've covered a lot of ground, a lot of football on this channel. Dearth in coverage needs to happen. I'd be a bit scared of that. I'm not sure if he could do it. So Clay Stites at quarterback as we start on the ground. Oh my goodness. Brian Arakpo still laying the smackdown right there. So one of the players to watch out for on our offense right here is going to be Lester Stallings, the left guard, who really had a tough time in the first preseason game. He kind of looked overmatched. So I'm hoping today it's a bit better, but there's already some pressure. Jarrell Casey appears to be his matchup. Why don't we take a second look here? Oh, a double team there that Casey gets through. He's one of those near unblockable players. I think the Kalispell Dynasty is my favorite on your channel right now. Yeah, I think that a lot of people would agree with that. And certainly it's a series that surprised me. Alright, so with Clay Stites' arm, you'd think 3rd and 14, we have a fighting chance because he can handle these deep to intermediate routes. So let's roll outside, and that's way out there. So Stites is far from perfect. He needs to develop, but hopefully we get plenty of good to go with, obviously, what he needs to work on. So we'll punt it away to Chicago. But here in the second game, I think it's going to be the starters play the first 2 quarters. And Tennessee takes over at the 30. Thoughts on Ravens quarterback situation? I want to see Lamar Jackson play. I really want to see him transition his game to the league. I think that Joe Flacco's played at a very replacement level, and it's hard to think it's going to get a lot better. Where's Mariota going? It's like a designed run? That was strange. What's the longest series you've ever done? Well, the Minnesota Dynasty was 10 seasons in football years, so that's up there. I forget how many episodes I finished with. I also did a Super Mega Baseball series that ended with like 165 videos or something of that nature. So I think this one has a chance to become the title holder in that department because consider this is year 7 and I think we still have a fairly significant amount of time left to go. First and 10, Olsen stuffed. I'm liking a lot of the run defense here from Reggie Ragland, which I expected him to bring. That's no surprise. Maybe we can get some reps, though. Oh, Calhoun's already in there. I think that Ragland's tired from hitting people. Mariota gives it to Corey Olsen, and again, stuffed. That time by Marcus Calhoun. That's good to see. Thank you for the super chat, Jake. Big fan. Me and my fellow U.S. Marines love your work. Well, thank you for defending our country, Jake, to you and all the Marines. I appreciate you very much. I've had a lot of family in the military, so it does mean a lot to me. 3rd and 6, that's deep and overthrown by Mariota. And 4th down. And thank you for the super chat. Who's better, Mike Glennon or Joe Flacco? It's kind of an unnecessary argument because it's one of those situations where you're comparing 2 things and it's like, which one's better? But it's like, if one's better and he's still not good enough, then the debate is almost meaningless. But I'd say Joe Flacco for argument's sake. Does it ever frustrate you that running up the middle can be so hard sometimes? Well, I end up usually having a very good yard per carry, so there's some failure, and that's honestly a lot of the running game in football is about failure. I mean, it's not easy to get those 4 and 5 yard chunks when you need them. So I think that while it might be a little bit tougher than it needs to be right here, at least we average out to a pretty good spot. There's a short throw for Regis, and not only is it important to see Clay Stites throw the football downfield and play to his strengths, but also, like, 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3 when you're passing is not time to throw the comeback route or the deep corner. He needs to handle the short stuff too. There's a good throw to Williams. Thanks for the Super Chat, War Tag. How you doing, big Vikings fan? Skol. Doing really well. Doing well on this Sunday. Thinking about what to get to eat for dinner tonight. Sunday is usually a day I like to go out. I'm not sure about you, but to me, the week always ends on Sunday. So every Monday, ever since I finished high school, which was 7 years ago, Monday has always been one of the most refreshing days of the week for me. Just because mentally for me, it's like the start of a brand new week. By Sunday, kind of wearing down a little bit, want to relax, usually Sunday nights, get something to eat. So I'm just looking to wrap up the week in a good way and then get up early tomorrow and get back to it. So yeah, very happy with things right now. Here is Stites to throw. Will step up, fire, and it's caught by Ed Acho. That's a big time play right there. And that's a tough throw. This requires so much to go right. This is truly a very difficult play. It took the protection, which we step up slightly. We get the pocket we need. This throw's got to be perfect, just in front of the safety. It takes a great catch by Acho. That's the kind of thing that makes me confident about this season. Thoughts on Gridiron Champions? I'm looking forward to what they can create, but until we see, it's hard to really have an opinion. Because video games as concepts, it's not really a way to judge the medium. It's really not. There are a lot of ideas out there that once they're tangible, they don't realize the vision. So it's really difficult to judge off of words and promises and ideas. I love the ideas, but we've got to see them in action. And I really hope that those guys can make an excellent game. I really do. Jordan, thank you for the super chat. Have you picked your Madden 19 franchise team? I have not yet. I have some ideas. And I hope that the team I choose that you like and provides us a fun franchise for 19. Hopefully it's a better franchise mode. I'm looking forward to it. We know there's going to be now custom draft classes. So that's a little bit of news we have about the upcoming game. 3rd and 20. Come on. It's Acho for the first down. Ed Acho really making a good impression so far as he is slated to become the number 3 receiver. How old are you now? I am 25 years old, and I still can't believe that sometimes. Oh, that almost got picked. That was a strange little play right there. Did they blitz me? No, they did not. Just bad protection. I want to break it down. So just a 4-man rush, and Stallings gives it up. So I'm glad he's a focus player right now because we have to be focused on making him a more proficient pass blocker. But this is kind of what I was getting myself into. I mean, I said I wanted a run-blocking guard, and in that, I took a player who wasn't as good at pass blocking. So, you know, we've got to work with that until hopefully it gets better. And running behind him should be a good deal, as we take it with Howard and can't get back to the line of scrimmage. Let's do this play call for John Gruden. Let's do it. Spider 2Y banana. Oh, John Gruden, you let us down. Everyone was covered. How do you cover the fullback perfectly on there? No one ever covers the fullback perfectly. And there you go. Strength will pay off in the long run for O-line. That's what I'm hoping. I want to start focusing on higher strength players because their ceiling is like by default going to be better. Because it's hard to make a player stronger in Madden. Regardless of where they start out. They could be a 79 strength or a 93. David Guerra. Please change Stites' number. 8 was Grossman's number. And Rex Grossman last brought the Bears to a Super Bowl. So, we give Stites the number. Here's Mariota to Olsen. You know, the Vikings gave Christian Ponder's number to Case Keenum, and he brought him to the NFC Championship game. I'm all about fixing numbers' reputations. Can we see some Deion Dawkins? Absolutely. He is another high-strength offensive lineman. On second down, Mariota. We got some pressure on him finally. Oh, but we're not fast enough to catch him. That's unfortunate. David, you got to trust the process here. Number 8 isn't cursed. 3rd and 1. They pitch it out to Olsen. And he doesn't get there. Amukamara with the tackle. That was nice. Oh boy, sky punts, my favorite. Get away from there! Please fix that in Madden 19. It's a ridiculous issue. Let's go CJ Ross on the toss. Is it tough not to take control of users during plays? Not at all, actually. I guess I played this way for so long that I just don't have that urge. Or if I ever did, it's long gone. Fortnite. You don't want to see me play Fortnite. Don't you want to see someone good play? I guess for a while there was a market on YouTube for like... Remember when Minecraft was super popular? And even if you were terrible, people still wanted to see it. Is Fortnite honestly there? Do you want to see someone run for 15 minutes and maybe get like an assist? That's incomplete. Here's a good time to try just a quick throw that we'd use to get a first down. So this is a play I would call often. I love like stick concepts, spot concepts in these situations, so... Okay. It's not, you know, the most decorated play out there, but we know Mitchell Trubisky had problems with it. Thank you for the super chat, Ryan. Love the vids. They help me get through my workouts. That's awesome. You don't work out the whole stream, do you? Just however long I stream, that's how long you work out? That'd be a great workout plan, I think. Regis gets tripped up, unfortunately. David Guerra, Stites is now about to have a 20 touchdown, 20 interception season. I'll do my best to not let that happen, and thankfully his accuracy probably won't cause too many interceptions on his own, but that can always change, I assume. No, I do control players, so if you're not familiar with my style of play on Madden, I control the offense pretty much entirely. But what I don't do is user on defense. I let players play to their assignments. And That way, like, a ball is thrown downfield, and the game does not become about, oh, Kane's user was good on that play. It's more so, oh, that player, you know, they had the awareness to go and make that play, or they went and made that tackle. I prefer to be hands-off on defense and be just more strategic in how I want players to do certain things. And the wind, they need to stop exaggerating the wind. I'm not sure how windy this game is, but it should not be sending the punt that far. We're tied at 3, though. A slow start offensively. Nah, man, an hour a day? Yeah, it's 3 videos. What do you think about Hunter Henry's injury? I hate seeing preseason injuries or injuries of any kind. Hunter Henry, I think, was primed to, you know, he kind of broke out last year, but I think this year he could have really solidified himself as a top 5 to 7 tight end. Do the Chargers have a replacement now already? Like, I know Antonio Gates was looking for work not long ago, and to me it'd just be logical to bring Antonio back for the red zone chemistry with Rivers alone, but I'm not sure, honestly, who their other tight ends are right now. Here's a give to Corey Olsen, and that's a solid gain on 2nd down. You can get an assist in Fortnite. That's better than me. I like the idea of Fortnite, but I think that if it had come out years ago, maybe I'd be better at it because I dedicate the time to it to learn, like, building and everything. But right now it's a little too overwhelming for me. But I understand why it's popular, and I think it's a cool game. I like the Battle Royale concept overall. What is your feedback on Andrew Luck? What do the Colts do with him? Well, I think you've invested so much at this point that you've got to see where things go. And I don't think there's any, like, career-threatening issue at this point, because consider the Colts, who have the most information on the issue, they traded down in the draft. They literally put themselves in worse position to get a quarterback if Luck wasn't okay in a draft class that had, what, 5 first-round quarterbacks? So, to me, if you were going to replace Luck, it would have been a month ago. And if they didn't do it, I'd say, you know, as much as we could talk about how it's been like 14 years since he's thrown a football, I guess there's reason to think that eventually, soon, he'll be back on the field. Chargers signed Virgil Green from the Broncos. I always thought Virgil Green was interesting, but he hasn't had that breakout season. I like him in Madden, though, so I'll take that. 2-minute warning here for Mariota. What's the call on 3rd and 9? Mariota looks to run. He's there. Does he get it, though? I don't think so. It should be 4th and inches. 4th and 1. Now, if you're not aware of this little slick move you can make, in a situation like that where Mariota is scrambling around and you don't want your players to be in coverage watching him run, click in R3. You'll notice I clicked in R3 right about there. Watch 37 and the way he immediately starts running. That's because R3 controls that part of the AI. So, that's why I made that play. Who is your favorite rookie from the draft this year? Oh, man. I really like Jair Alexander, but he's a Packer, so I can't say I'm looking forward to how he plays this season. I really liked Roquan Smith for the Bears. Really liked Anthony Miller for the Bears. Really liked like Dante Pettis. A late round pick I liked who went to the Colts. Deion Kane. I think that he's actually going to be solid. I also like Rashad Penny. Went to the Seahawks. Oh, wow. I scramble left. Or try to right as we go up the pressure. They're covering pretty well, too, for the most part. So a lot of these routes have just been nothing. I think in the next game, I do want to try some different players at left guard for pass blocking. All right, there's something. We haven't gotten to see Clay Stites really do his thing yet today. There you go. Another one to Adam Shaheen for the first down. And Stites is now 9 of 12 passing. What do you think of Dallas Goedert? Oh, I love the athleticism a lot of these recent tight ends bring to the table. I really hope that we start to see these teams actually have these tight ends that you can move around and they actually play to the potential and the hype. We have some that are able to do it, but I feel like it's almost been more of a concept than a thing they actually can put on the field to this point. And also, tight end is a very hard position to transition to the league in. I love to learn more about why that seems to be a long-running issue. Tight ends do not transition quick. It's Acho, and he's got it. First down and 10. We'll go, ooh, a high catch there for Regis, but not out of reach. That's the important part. Although, I do call passes that limit yards after the catch to be rather inaccurate as well. And they bring the blitz now. Get that away for Shaheen. And we'll call our last timeout at the 13-yard line as Stites continues to throw a good ball. You should play out of the park baseball. I made a couple videos on it. I do want to return to it and actually do a full season because the game is fun. And I love, you know, franchise modes, sim. It doesn't matter. I enjoy building teams and following teams through a season. Come on, end zone. Give it to us. Touchdown, Harlan Regis. All right. Good 2-minute drill right there for our young quarterback. And let's check that out again. It actually, this was a weird play because Adam Shaheen ends up setting a pick, essentially. He takes 2 players out of the play. And there's just no recovery after that. Come on. Not sure I've seen something play out quite like that before. Don't review it, it's fine. Will you ever return to the Backbreakers series? Yes, I will make sure at least this current season that we are in now, going on like 9-10 months, gets finished. Could have drafted Aaron Donald or Odell instead of Ebron. Not sure where the Lions chat is coming from, but yeah, that Eric Ebron pick is definitely one they regret. At the time, I was super excited about it. Well, for them, not as a Viking fan. But to me, I was like, oh, Eric Ebron, he's going to be potential rookie of the year. Because everyone else is focused on Calvin Johnson. We have this big athletic tight end who can move around. I thought he was going to have a big year and a big career overall. Corey Olsen up the middle. We got a few more yards there, and we'll go on to the second half. All right. We'll see if the starters are still in the game. How do they handle it here in Madden? I always forget. Okay, it is different. So I need to make a few changes here. We'll let Shore throw. We'll let Joseph Brookins get some carries. We will let Marquis Cole. And who else should play at receiver? Let's go Jakeem Grant. Grant has pretty good route running. Let's see what he can do on the outside. We'll go Demons in the slot at that point. We'll go Hackney and Singletary. We'll go Singletary at the top of the list first. Deion Dawkins at left tackle. Cooper Sharper at left guard. Actually, I'd rather see Javonte McKinney there. Is he starting at all? Not anymore. Okay. So, McKinney. If we compare him to Lester Stallings, McKinney, not as athletic, not as strong, but better awareness. And McKinney also has better run block, slightly lower pass block, and lower impact block. So, on paper, he should be worse than Stallings. But I don't let ratings just dictate everything, because if that was the case, then I wouldn't have given Stites a chance over Trubisky, and it turns out he's been more accurate in what we've seen so far. So we'll put... I want Stallings to get some more playing time. We'll move him to the right side. We'll let Tony Garcia play right tackle. Left end, Dante Rooks. Right end, Jonathan Bullard. Let's go Rashard Witzel at tackle. Judon, Calhoun, Anzalone. Carl Lawson, that sounds pretty good to me. Shaq Tull, Callahan, Benjamin, Dre. We saw Dre get burned for the game-losing interception or touchdown last episode because I had him in press coverage, which he does not succeed in whatsoever. All right, so Kason Short in at quarterback, and he is the short-throwing specialist, so to say, and another sack. Not giving us much of a chance here to throw. Hopefully we see Marquis Cole make some more plays today, because that juggled catch he made in last stream was phenomenal. Thank you for the super chat, Dylan. Acho would look good in an 80s number. I tend to go with the teens these days. That seems to be what most players like to do. Another sack. I gotta see if I can clean these up because the pressure is just unbearable. Every blitz is getting through as well. Well, Ross. That's not much of a block attempt right there. At least the offensive line wasn't the issue there. Still a bad play. Matthew, thank you for the super chat. As a Lions fan, I found it so funny that when Eric Ebron signed with the Colts was because he wanted a quarterback that threw to him even though he was Stafford's primary target and Luck isn't even guaranteed to play yet. That is a weird reasoning there. Like, Stafford's a good quarterback. You could debate, how good he is, but, he's a starting caliber quarterback, and on his good days, he's very good. And yeah, I guess I'm not sure what Ebron or what the reasoning is there behind why it's so much better than being with Stafford, especially with Luck's not playing recently. And honestly, does he think he's going to walk in there and be the top tight end? Because Jack Doyle is not the most athletic, field-stretching tight end, but he's a reliable receiver. For what it's worth, he was also a Pro Bowler a year ago. He's sure-handed, which has... We're playing against Pat McChesney. Does anyone realize that? Pat McChesney is playing against the Chicago Bears right now. This is wild. Pat McChesney, 3rd and 17. He's sacked. That was nice, Matthew Judon. Look at that. What a great play by Judon. Can you show the schedule for this year? Absolutely. Remind me when this first game is over. I'll throw it up quick. Who is your favorite quarterback from any of your series? I've always loved the Andy McKenzie storylines. Especially because he was kind of plan B after Tyrone Campbell didn't work out for us. Demmons! Get around the punter! There we go! Kendall Demmons! Touchdown, Chicago! 83 yards. I don't get to celebrate too many punt return touchdowns, so that's pretty fun. Look at the blocking there. It was perfect. Number 11, Kendall Demmons. Yeah, Pat McChesney was a player that I had in year 2 of the series. And things were going so poorly on offense, I decided to start him for a couple games. He was like a 65 overall. I know it was a ridiculous decision, but it did get us a win against the Vikings. He played really well in the preseason, and despite his lower ratings, he did some really good things. So I'm like, you know what? It's not working with Trubisky right now. I need a break. I need to play with a new quarterback. And I did for a couple games. And then, you know, I was able to kind of reset, come back to Trubisky afterwards, and play better. Hey, we don't talk about 38-7 here, Drew. That's still a sore subject for me. Your thoughts on Steelers draft and future? I still think the Steelers have a really bright future, but it does depend, you know, how long is Big Ben going to play? Because it seems every year now there's going to be the retirement talk. But we have an offensive line as good as they have, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, and I think their defense is going to get better. I still see that being a pretty good foundation, especially given the lack of competition within their own division. Who is your favorite running back? That's a great question, Mr. Mustache. I mean, right now, as far as like a skill set goes, I love David Johnson's skill set, and I identified him as a player I liked coming into the draft because of his receiving ability, and that really does set him apart. I also really like Alvin Kamara and Dalvin Cook. Cook is, if you watch back some of Cook's runs from a year ago before he got hurt, his change of direction and agility is outstanding. And if he comes back 100%, he is going to be a major problem for opposing teams, without a doubt. Nice play, Anzalone. Thoughts on Andy Dalton and his future with the Bengals? I wouldn't be surprised that, you know, eventually Marvin Lewis gets fired. We think, right? Maybe not. But I think when there's a new coach coming in, how old's Dalton? He's got to be in his early 30s. I think he'll get Flacco'd. They'll draft someone, and then the pressure will be put on. Corey Davis going to the Pro Bowl? Yeah, he's got the talent, that's for sure. At times last year, he was a major difference maker, but I think the injuries slowed things down. But this year, I'd expect him to take a leap. He could probably end up being one of the better fantasy football values, as maybe like a flex. Uh-oh. Ross stood up and can't get there. Got a super chat here from Carrie. Madden 19, bring in the whole senior class of 2018 from Minnesota Dynasty and Kalispell Dynasty. I haven't decided what I want to do, but I want to bring players from past dynasties into the draft. Absolutely! Can't run for short yardage. Who's down for a fake punt? Sounds like a good idea to me. It's preseason. We're going to Michael Burton, and he's got it! As long as the referees are being fair, which they are. Shaquem Griffin to the Seahawks. Oh, yeah, I'm really excited to see him play. I think everybody is. It's an amazing story to see that he's got this chance and he gets to play with his brother. Uh-oh, that's trouble, and nearly picked. What's interesting is that he fits a lot of different roles. You could play him at safety. He could be a run and chase linebacker, but he also is a good pass rusher. Even though he only has one hand, he still is an exceptional pass rusher. It's a great story. He's a great player. And I really hope it works out. What do you think about Mike Hughes and Brian O'Neill? Hughes, I'm pretty confident he'll transition well, but there is a lack of experience there because he really didn't play that much college football. But I think he's good at some of the most important parts of the game. And he seemed to be ahead of the curve as far as like overall technique goes and the way he plays receivers and just kind of the nuances of playing the position. I think he understands it pretty well. And then with Brian O'Neill, I really don't know much about him. So I really don't have an opinion. I like that they drafted an offensive lineman, but it seems like his game is more geared around athleticism over strength. And we'll see, how refined his skills are because he also hasn't been as experienced at the position. Oh, I don't have any major thoughts on Detroit Become Human besides I just want to play the game. It looks so much fun. I love those story-based games that have branching paths and whatnot. I really get into those. Oh, man, I thought we'd clear him. Intercepted. Good coverage. I'm going to sign him when he gets cut. I like the super chat here from Craniac Gaming. Honestly, I feel like Shaquem Griffin plays harder with one hand than a lot of players play with two. Effort is not a problem for him. I think that, he's obviously been faced with a lot of adversity just given that situation. But it looks like it's made him better. It's made him stronger, like mentally. And so it doesn't surprise me that he's as effective as he is. I'm excited to see him play. He's got a chance to be a star in Seattle, too. The defense is rebuilding, but they still got some players there. They can still do some good things. They might have to do a little bit differently, though. As someone who watches a lot of Pittsburgh football, O'Neal has the athleticism coveted by a lot of teams, but he needs time to develop his body and his mental awareness to the position. That's not too surprising. I think he played 2 years at tackle. So I just wonder, are the stronger pass rushers going to give him a major problem? Where are his weaknesses going to be? And how long will it take for him to be starting caliber as Spillman? Up the sideline. That's a big gain that somehow wasn't a touchdown. I bet Kane is secretly the GM of Seattle, a running back at 27 when they had a bunch of other needs. Reaching for a running back at that. I like Rashad Penny, but I was shocked to see his name go off the board that early. They had to have been terrified about him going somewhere else. Fullback dive? Don't think so. Stuffed by Jonathan Bullard. What about Sherman to San Francisco? That one's harder to speculate on because an Achilles injury for an older player, it's not like a young player tearing an ACL. It's a bit more of a concern, especially for a player like Sherman who he wasn't like the fastest player. I would not call Sherman slow, but for him to maybe be slower could be a big problem. Third and goal. Sylvester's back in the game and finds Spillman for the touchdown. But yeah, I hope Sherman comes back at full strength because I like his style at corner. I love the in-your-face, physical corners that have ball skills. Nothing better than that. Oh, Bram Dirth had gotten shaken up. He's all right. Do you think the Packers running back trio can be successful? Yeah, I do. Especially because their offensive line is usually solid for run blocking. Maybe we can try avoiding some sacks the rest of the way. That'd be nice. Man, it's getting out of control here. May have to revisit the pass blocking sliders again. That's the 9th time they've sacked me. I'm not looking to every underneath route here. I'm trying to stretch the field a little bit, but they're not letting me, even with a standard rush. Yeah, I don't like the way all Madden exaggerates difficulty. First of all, I don't think just like jacking up how good players are at block shedding or catching or hitting is the right way to handle difficulty. I think difficulty in a game like this should be more on the mental side of things. Like how good the other team, calls plays for specific situations and how they counter your great players. I would much rather see all Madden like double cover your number one receiver and just play smarter situational football rather than handle how they make players better or worse. Pass block gets broken. This needs to be fixed. It's silly. From Dr. Kuipernick, a super chat. Thoughts on Van Der Esch and Connor Williams? I don't know much about Connor Williams, but I do know that I liked Leighton Van Der Esch a lot. And I think that he's going to be really good. I think he has 3-down ability. And unlike a lot of linebackers like Roquan Smith, he moves really well and a much heavier weight. He's about 255 pounds. So, I think that it would be fair to make some comparisons. When I say comparisons for players, I'm never talking about their caliber of play. I look at where players win, their strengths, their weaknesses, and I would say that Leighton Van Der Esch does have some qualities similar to like Luke Kuechly. For another example I'd have there, I'd say, like even before Stephon Diggs had kind of broken out, his skill set was really reminiscent of a player like Antonio Brown. They win in very similar ways, although I'd say Brown is a better receiver. When you're comparing players, don't compare the caliber. Don't compare a player because you think he can be as good as Adrian Peterson was. Compare him to Adrian Peterson if he plays like Adrian Peterson, even if he's not that great. I think it's a more useful way to have that conversation. Fair catch that, Kendall. Oh yeah, Roquan is super fast. Did I say he wasn't fast? He's smaller. He's a lot smaller. No, if I said Roquan Smith was slow, that's incorrect. DYN Shady, thank you for the super chat. So far, you haven't missed too much. You missed a punt return touchdown and us take a number of sacks in this game. It's been tough. Singletary can't get the blocks on the tight end screen. Who do you guys think goes on to the NBA Finals? I'm going to predict we get Cavs Warriors Part 4. It'll be Part 4 now, right? LeBron is going to get it done. I like to see the Celtics move on, personally. I'd rather see the Celtics move on, but I think that LeBron is he's gonna crank it up to a new level. Or the level that we're used to. Really. He might have to score 60, but if that's what it takes, I think he does it. You know, I don't follow a lot of NBA, but what I think is interesting is we have these Game 7 situations where injuries are going to be a big concern. Is it confirmed no Chris Paul? I didn't pay that much attention. But we're going to have Game 7 situations where teams are going to be short-handed, but they have two of the best superstar players in the league. And that, to me, is going to make for some entertainment. What do James Harden and LeBron James do when their team's a little short-handed and a loss ends their season? I can't wait to see it, because that's where I think sports are at their best. Hello from England. Hello, Maddie. How you doing? Sylvester spins away from pressure, and that play angers me because we should have done a better job. Chris Paul is out. That sucks. Or maybe it won't be Harden and LeBron getting this to work. It'll be Jordan Clarkson dropping 45 points. You never know. Second down and 1. ASJ. Was that a catch? Kind of bobbled that. They call it a drop. Never bet against the king. Hey, if I bet against LeBron James and it didn't work out, I'd feel pretty foolish. Greetings from Turkey. That's what's nice about streaming a bit earlier, is we get people from all over the place in these streams. And I like to keep these streams early because I think it's fairly accommodating to everybody. Plus, I'm not really a night streamer anymore. I used to be. But now my nights are usually spent like editing or getting gameplay or just chilling. Oh, good run. Yamini loses his balance, but that could have been a touchdown. J.R. Smith will go off for 40. Oh, man. I would love to watch him go off for 40 in Game 7. That'd be hilarious. Ooh, Sony Michel. What do you think about him? Michel's skill set's really interesting. It's hard for me sometimes to describe his running style. I just call it explosive. That's one of those picks where it's like, it's hard to predict who the Patriots are going to select sometimes, but once they pick a player, it's like, oh yeah, that does kind of make sense. That's an easy game to connect the dots. You know, they like versatile players. They like players who are good at the most important things, and they don't make a lot of mental errors. And knowing how the Patriots use their running backs, I really want to see, you know, what the plan is there with Sony Michel. Because for the Patriots of all teams, Bill Belichick knows how to find a running back to help out his offense. And he took one in the first round. That, to me, says that Sony Michel is he's on a different level. At least in the eyes of Belichick. So I can't wait to see how that goes this preseason and season. Hand off. There we go, Calhoun. A super chat from Auto God. Thoughts on Darius Geis? I like Geis as a player, and I think that the fit in Washington is really good. They have some good offensive linemen there, and having him on the same team as like Brandon Scherf, who can just plow open lanes. I think that it was a logical team for him to go to, so I think that he got into a good situation, even though he slid a bit further than most thought he would. I thought he'd go in the first round as early as Detroit, but clearly he fell. Anybody who runs hard at running back is fun to watch. Sylvester, good pocket movement, and then he finds Spillman, who's having a big day. Third touchdown. Who is this Spillman player? Another super chat here, Craniac Gaming. Who do you think wins the AFC South? I gotta go with the Jacksonville Jaguars in that defense. Although I would not be shocked if Tennessee is able to take it this year. Houston, possibly. I'm not going to get any ratings in this menu. The AFC South has not been a fun division for many years, but that changed. And this year, I think that if Andrew Luck comes back healthy and Deshaun Watson plays well, it's going to be a mess. Cepha Spillman, 90 speed at 6'6", 82 catching, 65 route running, 71 beat press. And he's given our defense all we can handle today. Wait, how do they have 3 touchdowns? Where do they get their points? It's 17-17. They literally can't have 3 touchdowns. Who is your favorite team in the AFC? I don't have like another favorite team. I cheer for the Vikings, but there are teams I want to see do well, and the team I usually want to see do well is the Chargers. All right, let's see if Kaysen Shore can lead us down the field. There's a pass off the hands of DJ Hackney. Thank you again for another super chat, Kerry. Best quarterback coming out of the draft. Personally think Josh Allen, coming from an Oklahoma fan. Well, for me, I liked Baker Mayfield the most. Probably Josh Rosen or Lamar Jackson second. But Baker Mayfield was, in my eyes, the best passer in this class as far as accuracy at all levels. He's especially... Ooh, that got knocked out of Cole's hands. But if you look at some of the numbers last year, PFF broke this down pretty well, but he was far and away the best deep ball passer in this class last year. I like Mayfield's style. Oh, DUIN Shady, yes, you did see Pat McChesney. You did indeed. That is a thing. Come on! Oh! Shore's pass off the mark, maybe off time there. Not running much, obviously. I always have problems with my balance in preseason. I want to fix that in Game 3. Let's run the football in Game 3. Oh, Tremaine Edmonds. He is an athletic freak. He's as close to a prospect to Anthony Barr as we've seen in recent years. He's only 19 years old. I liked Roquan Smith more as a player, but if you prefer Edmonds, I don't blame you at all. Second down here with 3 minutes to go. Sylvester on the keeper will get the first. What are the Chiefs going to do without Alex Smith? Come on, they're going to have Pat Mahomes throw the long ball to Sammy Watkins, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce. I can't wait, personally. Mahomes is super entertaining. Now, if you're a Chiefs fan, he might scare you from time to time, but hopefully he justifies the pick more often than not. I like Mahomes. Do you ever have those moments in your series during preseason where you see a player on the opposing team? Now the comment's off my screen. That's disappointing. You really like, so when they get cut, you sign them. Sometimes I'll keep a mental note of players. I know, like, when I first started doing franchise videos on Madden 12, there was a running back for the Titans that, like, balled out against us. Hardcore. And I ended up wanting to sign him. I think his last name was Duncan. That's overthrown. Oh, it's not! Sylvester! How does he have 3 touchdowns? They only have 2. This is not a good look for our backup corners. Sylvester on the give to Olsen. Gets 5. Who do you think will win Rookie of the Year? Let's have a conversation about Rookie of the Year. We have so many quarterbacks. I think that to play the odds correctly, you have to decide or make the prediction that one of these quarterbacks is going to break out, and it's easier for a quarterback to win Rookie of the Year than pretty much any position. So, with that being said, consider who's going to get the opportunities for sure. We got probably Mayfield. I don't know about Darnold yet, because my guy Teddy Bridgewater is going to be a beast. So we got Mayfield, Rosen, and Allen as likely starters for the whole season. From there, we could talk about Saquon Barkley and the fit he's got there in New York. If I had to, like, rank it on offense, I'd probably have to go Saquon Barkley number 1. Just because I think that can be a pretty good offense as Corey Olsen gets the lead. And plus, obviously, Saquon Barkley is an incredible player. He catches the ball well. Incredible agility for his size. I'll go Saquon Barkley first. Baker Mayfield second. My dark horse Rookie of the Year would be Lamar Jackson. Mostly because we don't know if he starts, but if he gets the chance with his speed and his arm, you've got the potential there at the least. And I hope he does start soon, because I want to see Jackson play. And not as a receiver. Ooh, a good sleeper there, Royce Freeman. I like that one. A sleeper for Defensive Player of the Year, Isaiah Oliver. I do like that one too. Isaiah Oliver is one of my favorite players in this class. Kaysen Shore. Oh, I couldn't throw it away. Getting sacked like 40 times today. Calvin Ridley. I'd say just his market share in that offense won't be high enough with Sanu, Julio, and the running backs. It's the same reason why I wouldn't pick DJ Moore, because Cam Newton has one 4,000-yard passing season, so he's going to an offense. Well, I guess it's a new offense now, but we haven't seen Cam put up big yardage numbers. And I don't think Moore is going to be the touchdown guy because they have better red zone threats. That's caught by Singletary. We're not done. So Moore shouldn't be the red zone threat. You got Funchess and Olsen to take care of that. Plus McCaffrey's got to get his. So I think that Moore is probably going to have... He's going to do well with his touches. He's a good player. But Rookie of the Year, I wouldn't say so. Here's Shore. And it's caught by Grant. All right. 2 big catches here on this possession have given us hope. If we score a touchdown, we are going for 2. Who wins the Stanley Cup? Oh, go Knights. Go Knights. Come on. Oh, almost picked. What if the Knights just, like, they win the Stanley Cup and they just fold? We show up for 1 year, we win the title, and we're done here. Did you know the Pats study refs and what they call / don't call? I bet a lot of teams do that to an extent, so it doesn't surprise me. You got to get any advantage that you can. It is Singletary, and he hangs on. Let's use that last timeout now at the 4-yard line. Come on, Chicago, we can do this. First down and goal. Shore trying to win it. We got 6. Kendall Demmons, his 2nd touchdown of the game. And now, of course, we're going for 2. We're going for the win. Here we go. Can I be clutch in preseason? This is it. Oh, it got broken up for Singletary. Not clutch in the preseason. I'll try to onside kick it, though. I feel like I haven't called an onside kick in ages. Ah. And it's Spillman who recovers. Game over. Missed the super chat. I will catch up. I'm glad that so many of you have noticed that my hair is getting long and that you realize this is what I consider long for my hair. Thank you for the super chat, Sunshine. Bo Lee should be the coach of your Madden 19 franchise. I'm not sure who I'll incorporate yet, but I always like bringing back somebody. Perhaps it's time for Leon Daniels to, well, I guess he's not in this game. He's not in this one yet, or not going to be either. Sorry, Tomlin. Ruined your whole night. All right, so definitely a tough game with all the sacks, but Clay Stites still threw the ball really well for 9.1 yards per attempt. Case and Shore, definitely a little rough around the edges, especially downfield. We have to run the football more in the next game. I'll make sure I do that. It still says 3 touchdowns here for Spillman. What's the scoring summary on them? They go field goal. Spillman touchdown. Spillman touchdown. Spillman touchdown. Did he end up with 3 eventually? I already forgot. Yeah, he must have. Wait, the Olsen run. What's the issue here? I don't understand. This is confusing. I am not up to figure this out at all. As a Rams fan, I'm honestly excited and scared at the same time. I mean, I'd be more confident than anything, I think, at this point. I think that as a fan of the Rams, you deal with what I deal with as a Viking fan, where it's like, you don't really know how to handle your team having higher expectations and needing to be good because you're used to so much failure that it's hard to accept the fact that, hey, maybe they can be better for a significant amount of time. So I know that feeling, very familiar with it. But put yourself in the shoes of like a Cardinals fan. How do you feel about the Rams? Probably scared. And that'd be a good thing for you. Can't wait to play a division matchup in preseason. How about you? Oh, I need to show you the schedule for this season. So this year we play the AFC South Division. We're going to see the Titans again in Week 1. Then we have the Texans, the Vikings, the Cardinals, Falcons, Lions, Packers, Vikings, Packers, Colts, Bucks, Jaguars, Panthers, Cowboys, Saints, and a division game to close. I like our schedule overall, but I wish we played the Browns so I could hold Amari Cooper to no catches. It's my lifelong goal. All right, let's play Game 3. Why does the game have you play the Lions? Beats me. I think the Lions should be fine. Or the Falcons should be fine. NFC is going to be super competitive, so not everybody's going to end up being fine at all. Someone's got to take a step back. You can't have the Vikings, the Packers, the Lions, the Rams, Jimmy Garoppolo's 49ers, the Eagles, the Falcons, the Saints, the Panthers all be good. It's not going to happen. It'll even itself out over time, but it's going to be a competitive season for sure. I wouldn't be too worried about the Falcons, especially adding Calvin Ridley and getting some improvements. The team I'm concerned about in the NFC taking a step back is the Panthers because of Norv Turner's coming in. It'll be a new offense, and Turner's last couple stops didn't exactly go great. But we'll see what Super Cam is able to do because he's done some pretty impressive things. So this is the dress rehearsal for Week 1. We're going to run the football a bit more this time. What time is it here? I got 4:18. We're making okay time. Keeping it on the ground and running into Akeem Spence, my favorite. By the way, if you weren't here earlier in the stream, I mentioned that once this stream is over, I'm going to be uploading the Kalispell Dynasty within about 5 to 10 minutes of the stream's conclusion. So I'm here to entertain you on this Sunday. Good coverage by those linebackers. Oh, man. They don't cover those slants like they do in NCAA, do they? They have no awareness in NCAA. What team did Jalen Ramsey decline your offer for? That'd be the LA Rams, where they also got Deion Jones this offseason. Here's Stites, overthrowing Adam Shaheen at the sideline. Similar start to the last game we played, honestly. Thoughts on the Panthers' new ownership? You know, I'm not really sure what to think about, like, owners. Unless they were already, like, well-known, like a celebrity or something. I don't really know. Especially because what role does the owner play? That, we ultimately see and understand. There's a nice pressure by David Onyemata. Where did he go to college, everybody? Regina. In Canada. Stafford on second down. Short for Theo Riddick. Stites, boomer bust. Well, so far he hasn't shown that boomer bust style. He's actually been pretty solid. He's shown a safe floor to this point. So if you judge off the preseason play, it's more of a high floor, high ceiling kind of proposition. 3rd and 11 for Stafford. Gets it away, and that's a successful possession for the Chicago defense. Martin kicks it away to Mike Simmons. Number 6 will get his chance now. Simmons. Shouldn't have cut left there. So there might be a point in this game where I put Javonte McKinney at left guard over Stites. Or not Stites, Stallings. Good block by Stallings there, as Howard stretches the defense for 5. Hey, Kane, I figured out what was wrong with the Titans score. Check your Twitter. I will after the game. Thank you, Fantasy Hawkeye. Wait, Onyemata went to Manitoba? That's right. Didn't. I know Hicks went to Regina. Oh, man. I thought I nailed it. Whoops. That's right. Now that I think about it, it was Manitoba. So I stand corrected. Thank you. There we go. Stites! Oh, that's weird. And incomplete, too. Unfortunately. DYN Shady sends a super chat asking, do you think you will ever find another Perry Cummings? I don't know. And partially that's because I can't really do it on purpose. Because Perry Cummings became an outstanding running back in my Browns series for things that I couldn't have learned until I drafted him. What made me move him from receiver to running back was high elusiveness and high ball carrier vision. 2 things that will not show you in the top 3 for wide receivers in scouting in Madden. It was really like a major lucky deal. For those of you not aware, I drafted a late round receiver in my Browns rebuild on my second channel by the name of Perry Cummings. He was this really speedy, hyper athletic receiver that I thought could be a field stretcher. And when I drafted him, I dug into his ratings and found that he had like 90 ball carrier vision and very high elusiveness. So I said, wait a minute, he fits way better as a running back. So I let him play running back, and he stole the show. He became I think he was like a 66 overall receiver, and when I changed him to halfback, he was a 79. And within 2 years, he was Rookie of the Year and a 99 overall running back, with no XP sliders to make things go by quicker. Thank you, Dearth. So, Perry Cummings on my second channel. That might have been once in a lifetime or once in a very long while situation. So, yeah, you can find some late round receivers who can ball. But finding one who becomes the best running back in the league within 2 years, I wouldn't count on it. Wasn't he a 77 receiver? Okay. I must have been off there. I can't remember everything clearly, obviously. He went from a 77 receiver because he was a tremendous value, but he was like an 87 overall running back because he had elite speed, elite agility, outstanding ball carrier vision and elusiveness. I think it was just like carrying that was low, and I took care of that in no time. Oh, don't go out of bounds there, Regis. Stites is 0 for 4. So yeah, my memory was a little bit off there, but basically he became an outstanding running back. It didn't take very long. Ooh, through the hands of Regis. And Stites is 0 for 5 to start. I hesitated there with the linebackers because they ended up reading my first player coming across better than I expected. All right. Do Wildcat more often? I should bust up the Wildcat from time to time with PRESEASON. The times we have ran it, you know, I guess sometimes it works. When I'm trying to throw from it, not so much. On the stretch, it's Riddick. Spins and gets taken down by a Ragland. What's your prediction for the Vikings record? I'd say 11-5, but I'm hoping it's a little bit better than that. I think the division is going to be tougher this year, so maybe there's a surprising game in there. Like, the Vikings historically have been pretty bad at Soldier Field, but they've gotten a couple wins there in recent years. But the Bears could be on the rise again this season, so maybe Soldier Field becomes an issue again in 2018. That could be one little game that could slip up. You know, Packers could be a lot better and get a win or two over the Vikings. But they should be a playoff team. I'd be very disappointed if they weren't. Yep, I got corrected earlier. Onyemato went to Manitoba, not Regina. Although I was very adamant that he went to Regina, and I was wrong. Mike Simmons gets a little chance to show off the speed there. All right, can we please have a better possession this time? Let's go with our ace formation here. I want to run behind Stallings and this left side. Gain of a couple, and now Jordan Howard shaken up, which is a familiar sight in this series. He's gotten hurt many times. Stephon Diggs or Devontae Adams? I think Diggs is a better receiver, but I'm a Viking fan, so is that a fair question? I don't have a strong opinion one way or another, but I'm not sure that that Adams is better than Marvin Jones. Maybe, but I think Jones is one of the more underrated receivers in the NFL. What's Howard's injury rating? It's like a 90. It's something that you wouldn't be worried about. Stites. There you go. To Max Williams. So he's 2 of 8, not because of inaccuracy as much as players dropping passes in traffic. There were a couple bad throws in there too, but overall, I'm pretty happy with the way he's played this preseason. I tried to bounce it out too far. Sometimes I don't trust myself to get through the hole cleanly, so I just bounce it because in Madden, they like run into their own linemen all the time. Hopefully it gets better this year because they have, in the write-up, they talked about the new push the pile mechanics. Maybe that makes things a little bit easier. That's a major problem. That's the worst throw of Stites this entire preseason, plus the practice that we did. He airmailed that crossing pattern. That we can't have. We got some pressure there, but Stafford gets it away. Hand off Riddick out to the right side with a good block. I think that's Golden Tate. And the first down for the Lions. Oh no. DYN Shady sends a super chat saying Ben Talbot would have made that throw. That would have been one Ben Talbot would not have missed with his elite short accuracy. I'll give you that. We bring the blitz now at Stafford. It's Ebron. And a good first down pickup. Making sure I didn't miss anybody's super chat quick. Appear to be all caught up as Riddick almost got through cleanly. And now he's shaken up on the play. Reggie Upshaw in his place now at running back. It's a give to Upshaw. Oh, fumble! That was Adrian Amos on his first play in the game. On Upshaw's first play, that is. Welcome to one of the best safeties in the league in this series, I'd say. Amos has become so good. I can use him any way I want to. He can play in the box. He can play up high. He can make plays in so many ways. Loved having him on this team. Stafford second down. Oh, we got risky there, Amukamara. Didn't pay off either. I like the super chat here from First in Line. Trubisky would have thrown it into the stands. Yes. So perhaps it was still better than Trubisky, but not as good as Ben Talbot. Trubisky's accuracy was mind-boggling at times. But then there would be games where it would seem everything had fixed itself. He had some phenomenal games, and he could throw outside the pocket pretty well, but the routine plays were just a problem. Second down, Upshaw. Can't sidestep, Ragland. Which running back and wide receivers do you think will have the best fantasy year? This year was Todd Gurley and Le'Veon Bell, and Antonio Brown and Julio Jones at receiver. Well, I think you'll see those players all at the top of the list again. I think Saquon Barkley has a chance to be very high. And when you think about that offense, you'd think that he'd end up with a lot of the touchdowns too. Because I don't see a lot of players on offense who would really get more red zone work than him or get those chances. So I'd throw Saquon Barkley into the conversation. I'd also like to throw Dalvin Cook into the conversation because he should probably be the Vikings' primary back this year and do a lot of receiving, and he's a really good runner. Julio Jones isn't going to be a player that I target very early because he's not usually a high touchdown receiver. So I think I'd target someone else. Like, if I had the choice between, like, him and Odell Beckham or DeAndre Hopkins, I'm not taking Julio Jones. I'd probably take DeAndre Hopkins behind, like, Antonio Brown as my wide receiver, too. Let's see that deep ball from Stites. He's open. He's open. Thank you, Kim. No. That's not my fault. There's an injury on the field, too. So Stites has the arm. We know that. Oh, yeah, you can put Kamara up there, especially because the first 4 weeks with Ingram's injury, he might get more of the workload, and that's 25% of the fantasy season right there. Oh, it's Chicolo who got hurt, so Deion Dawkins is about to get some playing time. Stites. Ooh. Nifty catch there by Burton for 6 yards. I wish I could find more formations that have this skinny post concept. I love the skinny posts. See? It's fun. There's a lot of receiver conversation in the chat. What do you think of this take right here, everybody? I'd be willing to call DeAndre Hopkins the second best receiver in the NFL. Even over Julio Jones. Buying time. Uh-oh. 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 It worked. What stands out to me for DeAndre Hopkins are his hands and his ability to win in traffic. And he does that, I think, better than anybody in the league. There we go, Shaheen. Yes, that was a hurdle attempt. Let's pitch it out now to Jordan Howard. A block from Stallings. He didn't finish it, though. Oh, man. Howard's hurt again. I didn't have him return early from his injury, so this is completely separate. I don't want him playing anymore in the preseason. Doug Baldwin underrated? Yeah, I love Doug Baldwin. Not many players have had that, like, Steve Smith skill set, but I think he and Steve Smith are, like, carbon copies as players. That slashing, you know, they kind of are built like a slot receiver, but they're not really just slot receivers. They play with an edge. I love Doug Baldwin's awesome. One last play here. Oh, get it over his head! You got it, Stites. Harlan Regis. All right. So Jordan Howard's done. He bruised his knee. And now he can go rest it on the bench for the rest of preseason. Let's put Tariq Cohen in there. Gurley or Bell? I'll take Bell. Mostly because we've seen Bell as a receiver at a high level for a while. Gurley did more of it last year, but I'm still going to take Le'Veon Bell, who I think is the best running back in the league, which is a pretty common opinion. Uh-oh. Where are we going with this one? Where are we going with this one? Someone get open. Someone please get open. That's a catch, and it's out of bounds. Wait, the touchdown delayed. They called it a score. The scramble drill right there. That's a catch. Kick the extra point. Get out there. No. Overturned. Ooh, T.Y. Hilton, most underrated. I like me some T.Y. Hilton. One of the top deep threats in the NFL. Uh-oh. Gerald Hodges, huh? Force that one on the slant. Will the Bears ever score in this game? Who knows? We're so close to scoring. Second down and 13. Safety! We do score. Just load the box. DYN Shady. Where do you want Dez Bryant to end up? Thoughts on him to Minnesota? I don't think so in Minnesota. You know, they got Diggs and Thielen, and then you have Laquan Treadwell, Kendall Wright. Obviously, Dez is better than them, but not better than Diggs or Thielen at this point. But I still think that the Vikings need to see what they have in Laquan Treadwell, and they have Wright to fill in the slot role. I wouldn't expect him in Minnesota. They're getting a little bit low on cap space. I like to see him go to a place like Seattle, though. That'd be fun. Go give Russell Wilson another deep ball, go up and get it receiver. I think he'd be a great fit for, you know, Wilson scrambling around and making plays. You already have Baldwin who can just get open. He's speedy and a good route runner. But then you throw Dez in there and maybe the scramble drill becomes even more of a threat. So go to Seattle, Dez. And plus, yes, they need a red zone threat. Someone just made a great point. Aiden, without Jimmy Graham, they need a red zone threat there. That could be a big problem. There we go, Meredith. Dez to the Packers with Rodgers. If that was going to be the case, I think they would have made the move already. But they have Jimmy Graham. They have their red zone threat they wanted. I do wonder how much longer Dez remains unsigned, though. It's interesting. I know his career the last couple of years hasn't been phenomenal, but this is a little unexpected. So Stites is bouncing back with his stat line, thankfully. Nice block, Cohen. It gives us time to find Meredith. So can we say Tariq Cohen, better blocker than C.J. Ross? I think so. They do have a red zone threat, Rashad Penny. I guess that works to an extent. Nice blocks. Nice blocks. Come on, Cohen. Can't turn the corner. Still a fun play. The Packers are an interesting team because with Aaron Rodgers, sky is always the limit. They could literally win the Super Bowl as long as they have Aaron Rodgers healthy. But while they did make some improvements this year, with the defense being as young as it is, I still wouldn't say that things are fixed because there's going to be a lot of chemistry that has to be built, and they're counting on just so much youth there to play big roles. Like all three of their main corners are going to be first or second year players, and they're good prospects, but is it all going to mesh well early on? And do they have the pass rush? Thank you. Cameron Meredith. I did better that time. I'm proud of myself. For not throwing a pick at the 1 yard line, yeah. And here we go. Oh, Stites missed. We had the open receiver. Tried to go for 2. I also think that going from Jordy Nelson to Jimmy Graham while they're at different positions, I think they'll play at least a similar role in the end zone. I call it a net loss right now because of the chemistry that Nelson and Rodgers built up. I haven't seen a combination like that in a while. What they're able to do on like those back shoulder plays. I can't believe that they broke that up. Now, Jimmy Graham could very well be their answer in the red zone, but I think that there's a long way to go before that actually makes up for the loss of Jordy Nelson. So we're on to the second half here in the Motor City. The offensive line did seem a lot better in this game for whatever reason. So we do have that going for us. Man, Ragland can just hammer the running game with authority. It's fun to watch. Comparison between Odell Beckham and DJ Moore. I guess I see why you draw some comparison there, but Odell has this thing about him. He has such a suddenness when he runs, the way he changes direction and makes these violent cuts. I don't see that quite as much with DJ Moore. So I'd say that if you compare the two, it's definitely like on a lower level. I kind of like the comparison to Steve Smith a little bit more. DYN Shady sends a super chat. Who on Minnesota covers Graham? You'd have to assume that it's likely going to be Harrison Smith or Andrew Sendejo. Probably count on it being Harrison Smith when the time comes. Who is the best route runner you've ever seen? Oh, man. Well, I didn't catch a lot of Jerry Rice growing up, because my memory of him is like when he joined the Seahawks. Larry Fitzgerald definitely is one of them. I've always loved watching Larry Fitzgerald play. He's probably my favorite player in the NFL that isn't on the Vikings. And Dirth got hurt again. But also Antonio Brown, because he's a bit more explosive as a runner. Watching him run routes is just unfair. Opinions on Blair Walsh? I don't think he'll ever be fully back to his top form again. I wouldn't be surprised if his career isn't a whole lot longer. I'd like to see him bounce back, because there was a time when he was the best up-and-coming kicker in the league. And as a rookie, he put together one of the best kicking seasons by any player, rookie or not. His rookie season was special. We get this third and short stop as Stafford fakes it. And across the middle, it's Marquise Lee with an incredible grab. I definitely wasn't expecting them to go that route. Upshaw up the middle. He's got some room this time, and it's a Detroit touchdown. So after just getting hit by Reggie Ragland all day, he eventually gets his chance. And it's now a 1-point game. Please don't run. I want you to throw it. Come on. Jacoby Brissett or Brett Hundley? I'll take Brissett all day long. I think Brissett is either, you know, a lower end QB1 like a starter, or he's like the best backup in the league, which is fine. He could have like a Josh McCown like career. Stites is not left-handed. Kaysen Shore, our backup, is. There we go. Want to watch that play back. See how they handled this counter, which obviously we got 8 yards on it. So Stallings gets into the second level. Good job by Dion Dawkins playing left tackle. Sitton pulls around. Just a nice looking play. That's all I want. Nick Foles is the best backup. Yeah, he claims that title right now. There we go, Cohen. Oh, tried to cut out of Sitton's block and ran right into him. You know what? We've done the deep ball to Meredith a few times. It's preseason. Why don't we test Darius Slay downfield with Harlan Regis? Play action. Uh-oh. Wait, Slay just sacked him. I thought we were going to be throwing it against him. A corner blitz. All right, Madden. New video after this? You bet, James. I have Kalispell Dynasty coming up after the stream ends. Draw play. Stay behind Shaheen. I like Tariq Cohen. He's fun to run with. Oh, I thought Ocho would make some separation there, but no. 4th and 6. Let's go for it here. Why not? We're on the Lions half at 6 yards. Good time to practice some things. Meredith will move the chains for us. I want to keep running with Cohen. Well, not into a linebacker. Prefer not. On 2nd and 10. All the way outside, and Cohen makes a move. Tariq Cohen inside the 25. We know what his game is all about. None of this is a major surprise. If Matt Pierre were real, do you think he'd go to the Hall of Fame? 100%. That's a Hall of Fame resume he's having in that series. I want to get these other running backs some snaps because I really haven't done much of that today. We have like 3 backs fighting for a roster spot. Jordan, thank you for the super chat. Will you ever live stream a regular season game? I think I will again at some point. Not sure when, not sure which game, but I think at some point I would do it again. Brookins stuffed again. Cohen needs 100 carries this season minimum. I'd say like 80 to 100 combined touches should be the expectation. Let's say, you know, 6 or 7 touches a game is what we want. 7 touches a game would be 112. Oh, man. I was hanging back there assuming Acho was going to get open, and then he didn't, so I didn't throw it. But I took a big loss. Not throwing it when a player is covered, a novel concept I have since discovered. With all my interceptions, I thought maybe I'd try something new. Is Tyreek Hill a top 10 receiver? No, I think you could easily name 10 better receivers than him. But he's very good at a skill set that's hard to find and to play at that level. Do you agree with the Colts' last in power rankings? Yeah, until further notice. I think I'd be okay with that. If I were to do the Road to Glory concept that I've been talking about lately, where I do like prequels, where I take a player that I drafted, for instance, Eric Ebron drops it, for instance, someone like Reggie Shepard or Nate Bell, I go back to Road to Glory and NCAA and play like one season with them, call it their senior season before the draft. Who would you like to see me play? Like, give me 2 players you'd love to see me play as. I know Reggie and Nate are probably 2 of the top ones, but always nice to get feedback here. Maybe there are some surprises. You want to see a Pat McChesney Road to Glory? What is your favorite position to play as? Are we talking like in real life or Madden? Because in Madden, you can't play all the positions. My favorite position to play in football, like if we were to go have a game right now, I would absolutely want to play either receiver or defensive back. I'm open to corner, safety, whichever. Whatever puts me in a position to jump some passes. He might get up and go back down. Sacked by Calhoun. Did I just see 3 straight comments saying Cole Hartman? I see a lot of Cole Hartman in here. A lot of you remember the Chargers franchise very fondly. Tyrone Brightful. Just like 0 tackling, 100 hit power. Just gets spun out all the time. Donovan Ashley, Zach Bogan. CJ Ross. See, that's why I had to ask, because I didn't expect to see so much Cole Hartman, especially when you could pick like Nataki Mason. Let me set my depth chart here quickly. Let's go Anton Fitzgerald in the game. Or Sean Price. I'm most excited about Sean Price. We'll go Marquis Cole. Deion Dawkins, Cooper Sharper, Russell Underwood. I'm not sure why it's not starting Javonte McKinney by default, but easily fixable. We'll go Jarrell Holland. We'll go Dante Rooks. D'Angelo Brown. Actually, I want to switch up my safeties here. I want to get Ray Onubun in the game. I pass him up. Oh, Perry Cummings at wide receiver. Oh, man, that's a great idea. Perry Cummings in college. That'd be really fun. I forgot where he went to school. What team would I play with in there? Perry Cummings. I can't remember. I really hope that Madden 19 has a slot receiver position. I'm annoyed with people like Aguilar, Edelman, Landry always lining up outside. Yeah, I talked about that in my last, my Madden 19 news video yesterday. That's got to be something they address. And there was something in the notes, the news, talking about different things on the depth chart, different positions within schemes. And you'd have to think slot receiver is one of those things because those players have a skill set that just quite frankly doesn't translate to the outside as well because of all the press coverage. And when you put them in the slots, they can go inside, they can go outside, whereas on the boundary, you can't go outside. That's a sideline. So, you know, you want to see teams utilize players to their best ability in Madden, and the CPU needs to have the ability to put those players in the slot. The other thing they have to do, absolutely, is we have to stop seeing bell cow running backs. This is not the 90s anymore. We don't see a lot of running backs getting 25 carries a game. It happens to the best running backs in the league. But as far as the games I play where Theo Riddick gets like 25 carries, give me a break. Let's see running back by committee actually happen in Madden. Oh, it was Air Force, wasn't it? Oh, man. Oh, Shore overthrew Cohen. Playing with Cummings at Air Force would be fun if I had him at running back. I'm not sure about receiver because I'd be blocking in the flexbone offense all day. Or maybe getting some receiver motions. Maybe I could somehow play him at a hybrid position. I'm not sure if I could set that up, but it'd be interesting for sure. I've done like nothing on my channel in an option offense, so I'm totally open to it. DYN Shady. I think everyone forgets about Gordon Urban. I think even I forgot about Gordon Urban. I have so many players to keep track of. Uh-oh. Caught him! Nice job. Not a sack, though, Judon. Yep, Air Force's option. They run the flexbone offense. Which is very different than like a spread option offense. Kirk Shee on second down. Why does he always throw to the right flat? Gordon Urban's hair is something we'll never forget, though. Third down and 8. Kirk Shee, where's he going? Sacked. Matthew Judon. We're winning 11-9. It's like a high-scoring Cubs-Tigers game. This is weird. Who was Kane's shutdown corner on Minnesota? I had a few that played that role. I remember Sam Graves and me predicting he'd have a 10 interception year, and then he had like 3 or something, maybe even less. I had some really good corners in that series. I had David McClelland, who was just a super athlete. I can't remember everybody, though. If I see names, I'll remember them immediately. Trying to establish the run here. I'm stuck and still going. That was probably a very hard play to watch. Eric Lemon. Oh, man. Eric Lemon. I wish I could play with him more. He was a super athletic safety. He had dangerous speed. Third down and short. Oh, Hackney. No. Man. Joe Osborne. There's one. He was good. Doug Duckett NFL career mode, 65 catch, drops open passes. It got better over time, but it sure took a while, didn't it? He was one of those players who, like, from where he started to where he ended up was such a vast area. That was for him and Andre Gaines. Oh, Paul Patrick, Calvin Hall. Starting to come back to me now. Love that Minnesota dynasty. Yes, Winston, I remember that deep ball that McClellan gave up in the national championship. That's a play that, you know, you'd expect him to make. And he gave it up. Slot, nickel, third down pass rusher, strong and weak side linebacker, bell cow running back. Those are all great ideas for, like, specific designations that you gotta have a certain skill set to fill. I think one thing there that gets lost is like the idea behind a strong side and weak side linebacker. It's a really good point. Harmon Whitaker in college. Yeah, it'd be fun to take a player that I never really... Well, I started Whitaker for a year, but to take a player that maybe didn't get the spotlight in my franchise but had that potential to at least do a road to glory with them, that'd be a fun way to add to their story. Where's Kirksey going? Met by Calhoun. Did your Viking franchise videos get archived? They're all on the channel still. They're pretty old, though. And the commentary's a lot not as good. They got the screen off again for Upshaw. He'll get the first. Yeah, you have to go back a ways to go find the Minnesota Vikings franchise stuff. That's 139 episodes. That's incredible. Just clicked on one of the episodes. Wow. September 10th, 2011 was episode 1. Kirksey, 1st and 10. He never stays in the pocket. He learned from Chad Kelly how to play quarterback. Oh, a box safety designation too, yes. Especially because of speed regression. Absolutely. Or how about a red zone threat at like wide receiver? Or pass catching back. So when you're in the 2-minute drill and you're throwing, here comes the guy who catches the ball a lot. So I don't think third down back is as necessary as like passing down back. Not that every passing play should have a certain running back necessarily. That might get a little out of hand. But just like within 2 minutes or on third downs where you're throwing, throw that guy out there. That makes the most sense to me. A Lawrence Glears NCAA career mode? I could see that happening. Lawrence Glears. I've had a number of good linebackers come through my channels. We're going to run some Wildcats. Oh, of course you bring the safety down and I can't audible. So I guess we're stuck here. Run this down to the warning. A lot of you want to see Tyrone Brightful, and because I love playing safety, it may need to happen. That's a good point, too. Someone just said Jalen Egbo, and to me, like, I've never done anything with a defensive lineman, but that's the perfect time to experiment, because if it's not super entertaining, like, who cares? It's one season. It'll be fun. There we go, Demons. Oh, man, throwback to the Aurelius Ben jet sweep. Those were the days. That was like this channel's rock bottom when I called those jet sweeps to Aurelius Ben. Oh, man, those teams were bad. No, Price gets stuffed. Now, those Jaguar teams had some problems. Do you think that punters should be default holders on field goals and quarterbacks holding increased fumble chance? Love that idea, personally. Yes. Nice blocking. Hooray, we can kneel down the clock, but what's the fun in that? Do my man Kendall Shredder? Oh, there's a good defensive lineman. What about a Franklin Fitzgerald? Who wants to watch like 12 to 14 episodes of me just taking a nose tackle and stuffing the run? That sounds like a blast. Philip, thank you for the super chat. How about a Dolphins franchise in Madden 19? They're a team that is definitely in consideration. I'll say that much. But I haven't made my decision yet. Especially because some rosters could still change. There could be an injury, and I tend to go with preseason injuries. So, they're definitely a team that I will consider. Man, now all of a sudden we're blocking really well. Barry and Secchi. I was so sad that Steven Smiley never became the superstar. Those 4 games. We'll always have those 4 games. Those were amazing. But man, I wish that he would have become the star that I hyped him up to be. Kaysen Shore on to Marquis Cole. Thank you. Are you considering the Seahawks? I haven't really thought about them too much, but I guess I could. I think they're an easier team to rebuild than Madden just because they have an outstanding quarterback. Russell Wilson's like my second or third favorite quarterback in the league. I'm not here to rank quarterbacks, but as far as like who I enjoy watching, I love watching Russell Wilson as long as it's not against the Vikings. He's one of the players that puts like the most fear into me when I watch. I think like him and Aaron Rodgers are the quarterbacks that put the most fear in me. Or I guess after the postseason, maybe Nick Foles. 38-7, you know. It's up for Cole, and it's picked. No. They can't win this game. Oh! That's how it ends. Bears win. 11-9. Clay Stites throws a couple picks. It wasn't his sharpest outing. That's okay. He's been mostly good this preseason. We ran the ball a lot more, like I said I wanted to. We ran the ball pretty well as well, didn't we? The running game is going to be a big part of what we do this season. Don't worry about that. How many sacks did I give up? I'm just curious. 4. Still not great. Consider that I threw the ball a lot less, too. What about the Jets? Hey, they got Teddy Bridgewater. They're in the running, for sure. I do want to see if Bram Dirth's injury is at all serious. Nothing popped up, so I think he's okay. And I'm right. Alright, so that is going to about end the stream today. Thank you all for spending some more time with me. One more good question here. About how many pass attempts are you looking for a game? I think this year, if you call 60 plays as the average, I'd like 25 of those to be pass attempts. I do want to be a bit more run heavy. Maybe even a 50-50 split. But I do want to have our identity kind of be the running game and the downfield passing game. I think that's the two things that we can do well. So that's how I think we can play to our strengths. A lot of good conversation today, everybody. Thank you for all the questions. I appreciate all the super chats. Thank you. I very much appreciate all you spending time with me and supporting me in the content. So that's about done. That's about it for me today, though. Time to go find some food and relax the rest of the day. But tomorrow morning, I'll be back at it making some more content. I'll have the full preseason episode coming your way in just a few days here. Give me some time to finish up the 4th game and then to just compile everything together. I got one more super chat here. DYN Shady. I think Nick Foles was just salty about 2013 and finally got his revenge. That's true. When Nick Foles was red hot in 2013, the Vikings had a really good game against him, actually. They had a couple interceptions off of him, and I think one was A.J. Jefferson. So there's your useless fact of the day that could be false. I'm going to trademark that one day. But I'll see you all next time. I appreciate all of you. And if you want more content, if this wasn't quite enough for you, if you're just looking for a little bit more, Kalispell Dynasty coming your way in approximately 5 to 7 minutes. I'll see you all next time. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And have a good Memorial Day, too. And a good day after that. And just keep it going from there. Peace.